Good morning, children. In this video, we are going to be understand about the heat budget. Heat budget is nothing but referring the balance between incoming heat absorbed by the earth and outgoing heat escaping from the earth in the form of the radiation. First, we have to understand the meaning of three words: solar radiation, solar insolation, and terrestrial radiation. In that, number one, radiation. When a body gives out energy, it is called radiation. Example, the energy produced by the sun comes to us in the form of sun's rays. The second one, insolation. The solar radiation received on the surface of the earth is called as insolation. From the sun, how much we are receiving? Totally not received by the earth, only some part. The third one, terrestrial radiation. The amount of heat reflected back to the space from the earth's surface is called as terrestrial radiation. Let's observe the amount of solar energy hit the top of the atmosphere with 100%, which means 100% of heat hitting the exosphere, the first and the outermost of the atmosphere. Now, passing through the layers of atmosphere, some amount of energy is reflected or scattered and absorbed, and the only remaining part of the energy reaches the earth's surface. 35% of sun's rays reflected back to space even before reaching the earth's surface. This 35% reflected is called albedo of the earth. In other words, albedo means how much amounts of sun's energy reflected back to surface. Now, the remaining 65% of energy enters into the atmosphere. In that, 14% of energy absorbed by dust particles, water vapor, and other atmospheric gases. The remaining 51% of sun's rays is actually absorbed by Earth's surface. I hope you understand up to now clearly. Next, it is time to discuss the 51% reflected back to the space from the Earth's surface. It is also called as terrestrial radiation. The heat travels in a vertical manner. It is called convection. As the heat rises, 34% of the heat absorbed again by the atmosphere, which includes water vapor, dust particles, horizontal air movement, and other atmospheric gases. The remaining 17% of heat radiated into the space directly. If you observe carefully, the total 48% heat is absorbed by the atmosphere, that is 34% from the terrestrial radiation and 14% from incoming solar energy. And this 48% of energy absorbed by atmospheric also radiate back into the space. Now the total radiation is 48 plus 17, 65%. If you remind, at the beginning of this video, we discussed about 65% incoming is equal to 65% outgoing. So what we conclude from this calculation is that if the amount of heat received in the form of insolation equals to the amount of lost by the earth through terrestrial radiation, which we found it to be equal. That means the earth maintain its temperature, or in the other words, neither warm up too much nor cools down too much. Despite the huge transfer of heat that takes place is called as heat balance or heat budget. Thank you.